Texan beauty queen and a handsome Texan oil tycoon.
They become a power couple, two of the beautiful people.
How can something so right go so wrong?
Jimmy Jost was shot 13 times by a Glock 9mm handgun.
When love dies, sometimes it dies hard.
She and the son were gone, and people feared maybe it was a murder kidnapping.
These people are in big trouble.
And everything's bigger in Texas.
The investigation involves state police, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the Secret Service.
Austin, the capital city of the Lone Star State, Texas.
Austin is perhaps the most liberal area of Texas, and it also happens to be the state capital.
It's one of the most populous and fastest growing cities in the USA, and it's been growing since the Ice Age. Early inhabitants of the area identified in 9200 BC. Today, Austin has the nickname Silicon Hills because of its thriving tech and innovation industry. It's been voted one of the best cities to start a business and one of the best places for female entrepreneurs.
If you're looking for entertainment, you don't have to go past the Austin city limits to enjoy great music.
A place of warmth and natural beauty, it's a green oasis and has the characteristics of the desert, the tropics, and a wetter climate all combined. Austin entrepreneur and socialite high flyer Rhonda Glover is missing. On Sunday, July 25th, 2004, her aunt drops by Rhonda's home to see if she can make contact with her niece.
Rhonda Glover's aunt had come to Austin. She tried to get hold of Rhonda at the house, no answer. Went by there, Jimmy's car was there was still no answer.
She finds the garage door and a utility door open. But what she smells emanating from the house has her scrambling to call 911.
This smell is unlike anything she's ever smelled before. It's the smell of death.
Austin Police Department are deployed to a home on Mission Oaks Boulevard in southwest Austin.
This is a very upscale neighborhood.
The house was like any other pleasant, upscale home in any contemporary American suburb. It wasn't overly ostentatious. It was like a normal suburban house of a middle-income family.
Police are warned that the unlocked doors are very out of character for these homeowners. The aunt fears something is dreadfully wrong within this idyllic home.
Officers enter the home and they're immediately assaulted by a foul odor. There are also large insects crawling all over the home, and this indicates to them that there's likely a dead body.
For homicide detectives, they know the smell of death. When those first two cops responded, they knew someone was dead in that home.
As the two Austin police officers move up the stairs, the offensive odor increases in intensity. On the second floor, officers find the decomposing body of a male victim lying in the hallway near the doorway of his upstairs bedroom.
The victim is male, and he's been shot to death.
Then police give the aunt the news.
Death notifications are difficult under any circumstance and are extremely traumatic for family. In this case, police need to get very pressing information from the aunt. Given the state of the home, it's not an appropriate place for the conversation, so they do the best they can with the circumstances.
The aunt tells police who resides in the mansion.
A well-known Texan lives there with his partner, her niece, the famous beauty queen Rhonda Glover. It's one of many of their upscale homes.
The aunt feels certain that the victim is oil man James Jost.
James Jimmy Jost is born in Dallas, Texas. Jimmy grows up in the Memorial area of Houston and graduates from Memorial High School. Then he attends the University of Texas in Austin.
Jimmy was an oil millionaire entrepreneur
The Jost family oil money goes back 3 generations. Jimmy's inspiration comes from his grandfather, who is known as a wildcatter, a term for an oil man who drills exploratory wells in territory that's not already known to be an oil field.
Jimmy inherits the family wildcatter spirit. He's always searching for the next big oil strike or the latest oil drilling technique.
In the 1980s, he employs horizontal drilling, as it is becoming the very latest technique to reach hard-to-tap oil reserves. The move pays off.
Jimmy is a man who inherits millions from his family and then goes on to build his own fortune from pioneering oil and gas drilling technology.
Handsome and charming, innovative and hardworking, Jimmy Jost is a titan in the Texas oil and gas industry.
Jimmy Jost had a roller coaster career as a multi-millionaire oil magnate and entrepreneur. He rode the market like a plastic pony in front of the grocery store. When it was up, he was up. When it was down, he was down. But he always came back.
He is also a socialite, known for fabulous dinner parties that Jimmy prepares.
Friends describe Jimmy Jost as a great guy, a good, loyal friend.
He is a warm host and loves to make people laugh. He has countless friends in Houston, many of them oil men.
He was calm, he was confident, he was polite, courteous, and he had a calming influence on other people. He was nonviolent and very charming. Women loved him.
There always seems to be beautiful women in his circles, and they're frequenting the most upscale restaurants and bars. Jimmy always seems to be in the center of the fun.
Jimmy likes to spread his wealth around. There are legendary stories about him giving generous tips to waiters and picking up huge tabs. Even though he's wealthy, Jimmy isn't a snob. He's interested in people from all walks of life. He was known to invite the valet or the waiter to his parties.
His longtime partner is a former Miss Houston beauty queen, Rhonda Glover, who runs her own recruiting business. Jimmy and Rhonda have a 9-year-old son together. Detectives search the mansion for clues. Shell casings from 6 bullets are found near the body, and an additional 4 shell casings are recovered in the bedroom.
At first glance, Jost is found on his back, near the doorway to the bedroom, and there's blood spatter. A search warrant is obtained and police don't waste any time. Crime scene specialists are deployed.
There is blood in the hallway, as well as the bedroom, and an increased blood concentration soaked into the carpet where Jost goes to the ground.
It looks like he tries to flee and isn't able to make it.
All of these blood spots found on the surfaces will be subject to an analysis by a blood spatter expert. As many friends as Jost has, it's conceivable he also has enemies. He's incredibly wealthy, and maybe this is an oil deal gone bad.
Police search the property for evidence of a possible robbery, but there are no signs of forced entry, and nothing seems to be missing from the home.
Jimmy has a very beautiful partner, and he's used to Rhonda turning heads. That right there could make some people envious.
When the body of Jimmy Jost is found, Rhonda Glover and her son are missing. The fear is that they've been kidnapped. Perhaps they're going to be held for ransom.
With Jimmy brutally slain and his wife and young child missing, what could have happened to Jimmy Jost and his family? Could they have been abducted by his killer?
The quest now is find Rhonda and find her son. Rhonda did not give up her interactions with other gentlemen aside from Jimmy, and Jimmy was rather possessive.
The sheer number of bullets could indicate rage by the shooter, or maybe an excessive fear of Jimmy Jost.
According to Rhonda, there are 2 sides to Jimmy.
You know, there's a group of devil worshippers, and I'm just a lonely girl and people think I'm crazy.
Mega-rich Texas oil heir Jimmy Jost is found murdered in the mansion he shares with his partner, former beauty queen Rhonda Glover.
Jimmy Jost was shot by a Glock 9mm handgun, 6 shots below the waistband of his shorts.
His body is badly decomposing, and police gather evidence to try to understand what happened at the crime scene. But when police discover Rhonda Glover has been missing since March, they fear she too may be a victim of Jimmy Jost's killer.
She and the son were gone, and people were feared perhaps this was a kidnapping case. Maybe it was a murder-kidnapping. And so they were searching for Rhonda.
But actually, there's trouble in paradise.
Rhonda's aunt tells police that neither parent is supposed to have custody of the boy.
The aunt comes looking for Rhonda because no one's heard or seen from her for several months. But she knows Rhonda and Jimmy have an on-again, off-again relationship, so what she thinks is that perhaps the couple is reconciled and Rhonda just forgot to let her know.
Police canvass the area, and no one has seen anyone other than a friendly white male, presumably Jimmy Jost, coming in and out. One neighbor recalls seeing Jost's garage door open on Thursday. Another recalls seeing the garage door open on either Monday or Tuesday. The garage door being unlocked is so unusual, a neighbor walks over and knocks on the door to check on Jimmy, but no one answers, so she leaves.
The neighbor confirms that Jost did have various house sitters from time to time. But how well did he know these house sitters? Police need to track down exactly who's been at the mansion lately.
Police survey the area to see if there are any surveillance cameras in the vicinity.
This is a gated community. Perhaps there's a list of who's come and gone.
Officers determine that access codes to this gated community aren't personalized, and there's no way of tracking who comes in or out of the area.
It gets worse. There are also no cameras to monitor who's coming and going.
The Travis County Appraisal District information reveals the home on Mission Oaks is owned by Rhonda Glover, and utility records also show an active account in Glover's name for that same residence.
So the home does not belong to the victim. It's actually one of the many gifts he's given Rhonda.
Rhonda Glover is a small-town Texas girl who gets her start by winning big prizes in rodeo beauty competitions.
Rhonda Glover was an attractive, vivacious beauty queen and rodeo queen. She was quite active in the rodeo circuit. I mean, she wasn't a bull rider, but, you know, you could be a rodeo beauty and a beauty queen.
And that famous beauty catapults her out of her small-town world and into the stratosphere of upscale Texan glamour.
She had a great personality, and she was a charming person to be around.
She competes in bigger and bigger beauty pageants across the state, and she's a contestant for Miss Houston.
She doesn't win the crown, but she does meet a lot of rich Texan men who are intrigued by her beauty and charm.
In 1989, a Texan real estate mogul takes Rhonda to a party.
But it's a terrible date. She keeps staring at a man at the party who's got a lot of charm and charisma.
Her date comments that it's rude to stare at other men when they're together, but Rhonda admits that she just can't keep her eyes off the man across the room.
And that man turns out to be Jimmy Jost.
The next day, the real estate agent happens to run into Jimmy, whom he'd never met before. He tells Jimmy how awful his date the night before was. This is how the two men begin what becomes their greatest friendship. And it's also how the door gets opened for Rhonda to meet Jimmy.
Not long afterwards, Rhonda Glover and Jimmy Jost are introduced. There's an immediate attraction between the two, and they begin dating.
Rhonda is renowned for her sexual prowess, and Jimmy is completely smitten by her. It doesn't take long for them to get serious and move in together.
He was a perfect match for beauty queen Rhonda Glover. If you ever met Rhonda, you'd know immediately she was energetic, enthusiastic, outgoing, and a real charmer. And great fun. She and Jimmy hit it off immediately.
They become a power couple, and both make a lot of money. They move in high society and attend glamorous events with the Texas oil crowd. They don't marry, but on October 24th, 1994, the couple have a child together.
The baby doesn't slow down their high-flying lives. Jimmy and Rhonda continue to live it up.
Jimmy buys Rhonda her own house in Austin, several cars, and though he usually gives her tens of thousands a month to cover her cost, he once famously writes her a check for $1 million to use for spending money. Although he's a wildcatter, a daring entrepreneur, and a fun-loving life-of-the-party type, he's passive when it comes to Rhonda. She's the one in charge. But years pass since the two fall in love, and now they are known to drink and to get into big arguments. In fact, the police have been deployed to the mansion on Mission Oaks Boulevard on more than a dozen occasions because of domestic troubles.
Rhonda did not give up her interactions with other gentlemen aside from Jimmy. And Jimmy was rather possessive. He was never violent with her, quite the opposite. He always forgave her. Said she could basically do whatever she wanted. He just was crazy about her anyway.
By the end of 2003, the money's dwindling, and their regular fighting and occasional drug use leads Rhonda's mother to fight for and win custody of their child.
Jimmy Jost's brother calls police with information he thinks they need to know. He tells authorities that the owner of a popular shooting range has told him that Rhonda Glover is recently there, taking shooting lessons and practicing at the shooting range.
Police also discover that Rhonda rents a recreational vehicle on July 21st, just days before the murder.
Police issue a nationwide alert for Rhonda Glover.
The former beauty queen, once thought to be a possible victim, is now a person of interest in the murder of her partner, oil tycoon Jimmy Jost.
Police learn that murdered oil tycoon Jimmy Jost's longtime relationship to Rhonda Glover is on the rocks. The victim's brother tells police that Rhonda Glover recently buys a handgun and is learning how to shoot. When police can't locate Glover, they put out a nationwide alert to find the former beauty queen. The autopsy reveals that Jimmy Jost dies of multiple gunshot wounds. A total of 13 gunshot wounds to Jost's chest, abdomen, arm, and groin areas, with 3 exit wounds, indicate he is shot 10 times.
The angle of at least one of the bullet wounds indicates that the victim was shot while lying on the ground.
The sheer number of bullets could indicate a rage by the shooter, or maybe an excessive fear of Jimmy Jost.
The shell casings are determined to have been fired from a 9mm semi-automatic handgun.
At least one bullet goes through him and into the wall while he's moving down the hallway, which causes the high-velocity impact stains found on the walls.
Police put a trace on Rhonda's cell phone.
They feel pretty confident that Rhonda is going to use that cell phone eventually.
On Tuesday, July 27th, Kansas Highway Patrol officers tracked signals from Glover's cell phone to an RV parked outside a truck stop in Hayes.
Rhonda Glover is located wearing a yellow sundress in a store buying milk.
That is when the ATF became involved. It turned out Rhonda Glover was not honest in filling out her ATF form when she purchased the gun.
She is taken into custody and charged with falsifying her address on a firearm application, which is a federal crime. At first, police don't reveal that the body of Jimmy Jost has been found.
I'm not here to talk to you about wanting you in custody. Okay, you're in custody for a federal violation.
What did I do?
It involves firearms and it was handled through the ATF.
I just don't know what's going on.
Okay, I understand.
I was on vacation with my son. So I'm just...
Where did you go?
I was gonna go on audition for a a Nashville show. I'm a singer, and so I had my guitar and with me, and I chickened out when we got there. And then I went to Austin because I have a home that I sold to my ex, and he gave me $100,000 equity on it, and he wanted to keep the house, and he was worshiping the devil, and told my mother that that Lucifer was going to come into my son and become the Holy Spirit. So when all this devil worshiping stuff started coming out, I got away from him. I wanted nothing to do with him. He scares the crap out of me.
Rhonda tells police the last time she saw Jimmy was 3 months ago.
I read the thing about a homicide, and it said it took place at the Mission Oaks house. I thought maybe Jimmy killed somebody there. Did he kill somebody? Did you find a body there? Because that's what I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, we did find a body.
Police interview Rhonda for about an hour while she talks about how bad a person Jimmy is.
Try to convince me that he was going to become God. Because in Revelation it says that God is going to come, he's chosen a man, and he's going to come and walk with us and be our God, okay? So Jimmy had me convinced that it was going to be him.
She became convinced that Jimmy was the devil and that God had sent her on a mission.
I met a guy who told me that I needed to probably get a gun. And so I went and took a handgun safety course with my son.
She bought the gun on June 24th, 2004. Then she promptly went to take shooting lessons at the shooting range not far from where she lived.
God kept telling me, you need to protect yourself. You need to protect yourself. And so I went to Reds and practiced with a Glock 19. A Glock 19, yeah. And he said, that's the best gun for you. He said, everybody buys the 9mm, they fit in your hand easy. Well,
detectives continue to press Rhonda about her actions on July 21st.
She finally breaks down and confesses.
I did do it. I did. He came after me, and I did do it. Okay. I wanted to get my camping equipment from the house. I went to the house, and I took my gun with me, and I was upstairs in the attic getting all my camping stuff, and I heard the garage door open. He came at me, and we struggled, and I got to my briefcase, and I got the gun, and he hit me on the head with it. With the gun. He didn't get it. I had it in my hand. It hit me like this, okay? And I had my hand off the trigger. I was holding on to it because I took a defensive class with this guy, Rico, okay? I kicked him off at me, and he got up, and he was coming through. I was in the bedroom, and he was coming at me, and he was screaming, "I'll kill you," in a demonic voice, just like Satan would. And I just emptied the gun, and I ran.
She originally claimed he was strangling her and she had to defend herself. But he wasn't shot at that close range of him strangling her.
Rhonda, that didn't quite match up with what we saw. There was some indication that you may have shot while you were actually in the home.
No. I shot him from the bedroom. I did not move an inch. I was scared to death.
Rhonda Glover is charged with first-degree murder. Her bail is set at $1 million.
A search of Rhonda's rented RV reveals a 9mm handgun. Firearms examiners test-fire the handgun and determine that it is the weapon used to kill Jimmy Jost. Police also find a business card for a second shooting range.
Police ask the shooting range to tell them a little bit about their dealings with Rhonda.
In May 2004, he first instructs Rhonda Glover in the use of firearms.
She kept telling me about an ex that she had and that they were having a rocky relationship, and she was afraid and wanted to learn how to shoot to defend herself.
She rents a handgun, and he teaches her the double tap, the technique of gently and quickly pulling a trigger twice in rapid succession.
Rhonda purchases her own 9mm handgun.
On July 10th, Rhonda Glover returns, purchases ammunition, and proceeds straight to the practice range and requests advanced firearms training.
Rhonda wants to learn and talk about scenarios that go beyond your basic self-defense situations.
Then she scheduled a defensive lesson. Defensive lesson is when we allow the student to holster and carry additional magazines, and we teach them how to draw from concealment, how to use a weapon while moving.
She asks to learn how to make sure there are no intruders in the home. She fears that people may be in her house when she's not around. She draws a floor plan and learns how to flush out intruders.
Instead of doing my regular defensive lesson, she wanted to simulate her house.
And she did mention the exact scenario of him coming up the stairs, her being in the bedroom.
She wants to do something to an upstairs bedroom. And she says, in this upstairs bedroom, there's an attic door. She wanted to practice shooting to the left side of the bed and then shooting the attic door, which would be in the right corner of the room as you entered the bedroom. And that's the scenario she wanted to practice.
She asks, how should she shoot someone who's sitting on the sofa? Her instructor has a problem with that. It doesn't sound defensive to him.
It was like, well, why would, if somebody was breaking into your house, why would somebody be sitting on your couch?
But when she wants to know how to go around the front of the couch and shoot him again to make sure he's dead, that's when the instructor says, that's when you call 911.
So right there, I'm thinking, well, she sounds to me like she's talking about somebody specifically. I mean, for you to want to go around and shoot somebody a second time, to me, you must have some kind of anger towards somebody. I was like, hey, this lady's really starting to creep me out.
Rhonda Glover practices and catches on fast. She comes to the range on the day of the murder and practices shooting her gun.
When she came in on the 21st, how was her demeanor?
She come in, and then she went to the restroom and changed.
And how was she dressed then? Just
that's kind of strange, because like she came out and she was wearing like some biker stuff. Like she had chaps, leather chaps.
She is told by her instructor she's made tremendous improvement.
She showed a lot of improvement from the first time she came in to the second time that I shot with her. Because I want to say that she got all her shots in the, in the torso area of that target.
Rhonda says Jimmy has fooled everyone into believing he's a nice guy, but Rhonda knows the truth.
In May 2004, Rhonda tells a friend that Joss is involved in child pornography and that he has sexually abused her son.
She kept calling him Satan, and she needed to get rid of Satan.
why was she calling him Satan?
Because she felt that he was Satan. She felt he was involved in child pornography.
But Jost's best friend tells detectives that Jimmy worships Rhonda, provides for her like a wife, and supplies her with lavish homes, cars, cash, and kindness.
According to Rhonda, there are two sides to Jimmy. One is the gregarious friend, the life of the party that most people know, and then there's the darker side, the one that only she knows.
I'm held on to this information. I'm so scared of them. If there's a group of devil worshipers, and I'm just a lonely girl who people think I'm crazy.
When Jimmy Jost is murdered and his partner, Rhonda Glover, goes missing, police put out a nationwide alert to find her. Her cell phone is traced, and Rhonda is caught and charged with first-degree murder. But Rhonda tells police that her partner is an abuser and that she kills him to protect her and their child. Rhonda tells officers that she only kills Jimmy Jost to save her own life.
He has hurt me before, and I'm very scared of him, and this is not premeditated. This is just to protect me.
But it's not the first time she's made serious complaints. In fact, Rhonda calls 911 on a regular basis.
In the year before Jost's death, Rhonda Glover frequently calls 911 in fear and panic. Police investigate over and over, and find nothing.
She would call the police at least 3 to 4 times a week saying Jimmy had killed someone and buried them in the backyard, or there were bodies in the walls.
Police have labeled her an EDP, or emotionally disturbed person. This designation alerts law enforcement that the individual is genuinely experiencing distress, to approach with caution, and that perhaps the best results can be achieved by applying de-escalation techniques.
Police reports, rehab records, and personal accounts all describe the erratic actions and body language of former beauty queen Rhonda Glover.
She alleges that Jimmy is a devil worshiper who partners to build and operate an underground tunnel stretching throughout the city in which mass child sex torture and murder occurs.
Officers responding to 911 calls are very familiar with Rhonda Glover's regular calls.
On one 911 call, officers arrived to Rhonda Glover, still talking to 911, reporting on the demons in the walls of her home.
Paranoid delusions were part and parcel of Rhonda's regular daily routine. The police were so used to her calling almost every day with another paranoid delusion that it's like, here we go again, and they send out the community officer not to arrest anybody, but to counsel her, to calm her down, because they were very familiar with her.
But there appears to be one stable influence in Rhonda's life, her partner, James Jimmy Jost.
Officers asked Joss if Rhonda Glover is a danger to him, herself, or anyone else. And Joss assures authorities, definitively saying he is not in danger from Rhonda.
When he would always tell the police, she's not a danger to me, she's not a danger to herself, I can handle her. And he could, for many years.
Jimmy Jost remains steadfastly devoted to Rhonda Glover, even though her presence causes distance from many of his friends.
Rhonda Glover told authorities she was bipolar. However, according to her medical records, which she allowed me to obtain, it said that she had psychosis NOS, which means not otherwise specified. She's a very bright woman, but the mental health issues obscure that and gets her out of focus, shall we say.
But does her condition make her totally unreliable? Is there truth to her claims about Jimmy's violence toward her?
Jost recently offers Rhonda a $350,000 engagement ring that she refuses.
Perhaps money isn't her only concern. Is it possible that his devotion to her borders on obsession and that he is dangerous?
A packed memorial service is held for Jimmy Jost at St. Martin's Episcopal Church. He's celebrated by many friends who miss Jimmy's gregarious, generous spirit.
No one there can believe that Jimmy is a dangerous man.
But Rhonda gets her day in court.
In early 2006, Rhonda Glover faces a Travis County, Texas jury of 9 women and 3 men.
She tells the story of the day she shoots her partner and the father of their child. It's a story that shocks those who love and know Jimmy Jost.
During her trial, Rhonda Glover tells the court that on the day of the murder of Texas oil tycoon Jimmy Jost, she hoped she wouldn't run into Jimmy.
She has been deliberately avoiding Jost for months because he drinks too much and beats her.
She testifies that she goes to the Southwest Austin house with the purpose of dropping off her handgun and picking up some camping gear needed for a trip to Nashville she has planned with their child. She tucks her 9mm semi-automatic handgun into the back of her pants.
She says the gun purchase is preventative. Her thinking is that if he knows she has a gun, he'll stop stalking her. On the day of the killing, she had it on her in case she was ambushed by her former lover.
Rhonda says that at the time, she didn't believe Jimmy was in the home, but he walks in, surprising her. They begin to argue and he grabs her throat, choking her. She fears for her life.
She says she had occasion, unfortunately, to pull out the hidden gun and start firing. She says the firing just perpetuated. Rhonda is tearful as she says, "I shot him. I shot him because I thought he was going to kill me."
She tells the jury that Jost is dangerously obsessed with her. He has an outgoing public persona, but a dark, private one.
Rhonda's defense says she is a victim of abuse and has finally fought back.
Will the jury find her version of the events plausible?
She originally claimed he was strangling her and she had to defend herself. But he wasn't shot at that close range of him strangling her. No, it was that far away. Far enough away for him to be taken by surprise and taken down by 13 bullets.
The prosecution isn't buying it. They have strong words for Rhonda Glover. They call her testimony a prefabricated story and tell the jury she's crying crocodile tears. They even bring up her drug and alcohol use.
Prosecution calls several of Jimmy Jost's friends to answer Glover's testimony that Jost beats her.
They all testify that Jimmy was gentle with an aggressive woman and accuse Rhonda of lying.
Numerous stories come out discussing Rhonda's violence and delusions.
There's a gripping story of how Rhonda attacks Jimmy at a barbecue and knocks him down, punches him, and has to be dragged off him.
But Rhonda Glover does not appear to be so off balance that she is incapable of calculating her personal gain with Jimmy Jost.
Circumstances have changed. Jimmy's great fortune that he seems to have gladly handed over to her over the past 15 years in the form of cash and jewelry and property and other gifts, it's considerably shrunk.
The prosecution says that with Jimmy's fortune dwindling, Rhonda wanted to get her hands on the payout from Jimmy's large life insurance policy.
Prosecutors say Rhonda Glover carefully plans the murder. She makes the purchase of her very own semi-automatic handgun. She takes not only basic shooting lessons in the months before the murder, but specialized ones, dealing with very particular scenarios.
Rhonda had been rehearsing this homicide repeatedly at the local gunshot range. She even specifically asked, if I'm at the top of the stairs or if I'm upstairs and an intruder is coming up the stairs and I'm there, when can I shoot him?
Her shooting instructor testified that Rhonda was very proud of the fact that her targets were generally hit center mass. And that means that she was proficient at striking the target in an area that represented the heart, the lungs, the spine, the vena cava.
On July 21st, 2004, she rents a car, drives it to a shooting range in Oak Hill to practice, then drives to the house on Mission Oaks Boulevard. Prosecution alleges she lures him into the bedroom. She ambushes him and shoots Jimmy Jost in cold blood.
She drives with her son back to her friend's home, and by the friend's account, Rhonda was calm.
A friend testifies that just 2 months before the murder, Rhonda says she plans on seducing Jimmy, handcuffing him to the bed, mutilating him, and then setting the house on fire.
Defense counsel wants the friend to testify as to why Rhonda Glover wants to kill Jimmy Jost, to specifically discuss Rhonda's allegations about child pornography and the abuse of their child.
But the court doesn't allow any discussions of the sex abuse allegations. They believe it's prejudicial, but that doesn't stop Rhonda.
Rhonda Glover disregards this order and says, "I thought during this trial and testimony that I would be able to prove that Jimmy had in fact molested my son."
Despite what she's been ordered, she gets herself heard, but the jury's not buying it. They're not convinced.
The many graphic accounts of Rhonda's violence and acts of premeditation add up.
There's a history of delusional behavior, excessive drug and alcohol use, and violence, at least according to what's heard at the trial.
It's on record that not long before the murder, Child Protective Services needs to check on their child and Rhonda tells the worker that their child is Jesus Christ.
Her claims of self-defense are really weak. In fact, it takes the jury only 2 hours of deliberations to find her guilty of murder. She's sentenced to 46 years in prison, and she's set to be released in 2050.
I wouldn't say it was an open and shut case, but the fact that she did not want to claim psychiatric reasons. She did not want to use an insanity defense. She was very sensitive about the fact that the people knowing she had mental problems. And so that never came up. Maybe she would have been sent to a mental hospital. No way of knowing.
His best friend remembers that he and Jimmy share a beer on July 20th, just before his murder.
Jimmy steers the conversation away from himself and Rhonda. Maybe he's taken all he can take from her and is finally ready to let her go. Maybe she senses it too and feels the need to kill him before he cuts off ties with her. We'll never know.
The Austin police revealed to his best friend that the last call Jimmy Jost makes on his cell phone is to him, but he misses it.
And his friend muses that Jimmy's only fault is loving women too much and being too generous. Something powerful draws this couple together and keeps them together for far too long.
Friends say the wrong woman gets a hold of Jimmy Jost.
It's a sad story of what seems to be mental illness, drugs, and a life of excess.
Glover petitions the Court of Appeals of Texas and asserts that the district court abuses its discretion by refusing to submit an instruction on the lesser included offense of criminally negligent homicide. On November 8, 2007, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals denies the appeal and upholds the judgment.
Rhonda Glover was both a lover and a killer. She was both the beauty and the beast. Jimmy Jost was the last to know this.
And the friends of Jimmy were especially heartbroken because he was such a nice guy, and despite Rhonda's problems, he felt safe with her, or felt he could be safe with her.